Overpopulation is a crisis. The world is facing an overpopulation crisis, with too many people competing for limited resources like jobs and housing. This has led to increased costs of living, decreased job security, and a general decrease in quality of life. It seems counterintuitive that people are worried about declining birth rates when overpopulation is already straining our systems. The concern about declining birth rates highlights a logical inconsistency, as a smaller population could potentially alleviate some of the pressure on resources, ultimately benefiting society as a whole. The ultra-rich may have a vested interest in maintaining a large and growing population, as it provides them with a steady supply of cheap labor and consumers. With more people, there is a greater demand for goods and services, which can drive up profits for corporations and wealthy individuals. Furthermore, a larger population can also lead to increased competition for limited resources, making it easier for the ultra-rich to exploit and manipulate the system to their advantage. For example, in a labor market with an oversupply of workers, wages can be kept low, and workers may be less likely to unionize or demand better working conditions, allowing the ultra-rich to maximize their profits. This dynamic raises important questions about the motivations behind the concern over declining birth rates and whether it is truly about the well-being of society or just a means for the ultra-rich to maintain their power and influence. By examining the potential benefits of a large population for the ultra-rich, we can gain a deeper understanding of the complex factors driving the conversation around declining birth rates. The concern over declining birth rates often shifts the focus towards the long-term future, potentially at the expense of current generations. This raises an important question: are we prioritizing the needs of future generations over those of our own? And if so, is this a selfish perspective? For instance, the worry about who will support the elderly in the future might lead to policies that burden young people with increased taxes or reduced social services. This could be seen as a form of generational sacrifice, where the well-being of current generations is compromised for the sake of future ones. It's essential to consider whether this approach is fair and sustainable. By prioritizing the future over the present, we might be overlooking the needs and challenges of our current population, ultimately creating a cycle of sacrifice that benefits no one. The one-line takeaway is that our concern for declining birth rates might be rooted in a misplaced sense of responsibility towards future generations, rather than a genuine concern for their well-being. As we conclude our discussion on the paradox of declining birth rates, it's essential to reflect on the complexities of this issue. We've explored the seemingly illogical concern over declining birth rates in the face of overpopulation, and how the ultra-rich may benefit from a larger population. We've also touched on the idea that worrying about the future can lead to generational sacrifice, where the needs of current generations are neglected. The key takeaway is that declining birth rates are not a simple problem, but rather a multifaceted issue with various implications. As we move forward, it's crucial to consider the potential consequences of our actions and prioritize the well-being of all individuals, regardless of age or socioeconomic status. By acknowledging the intricacies of this issue, we can work towards creating a more sustainable and equitable future for everyone. Ultimately, it's up to us to think critically about the implications of declining birth rates and to strive for a more nuanced understanding of this complex problem.